Very good morning to one and all. Today we are going to talk about presentation on cordial relationship between the research supervisor and research scholar. Myself, my name is Dr. D. Rajalakshmi. I am working as assistant professor in Department of Psychology from St. Joseph College for Women, Visakhapatnam. So basically, for doing a research, this topic is very important. It's playing a major role. Presentation on cordial relationship between research supervisor and research scholar means see here good relationship, healthy relationship is required in between the research supervisor and as well as the research scholar. So it's a basically a research is it's a long journey, and it's when we are doing the journey we will face many kind of the difficulties and challenges. So long period of time basically we are doing research means it's around, if it is a full time 2.5 years to 3 years it will take in the meanwhile. So we are doing many things. We need to write whatever is required for the research from introduction to interpretation, and we need to collect the data, we need to develop a questionnaire, and we need to discuss each and every point with the guide. So if he is cooperated with you, then our research will be going on smoothly. If the guide is not cooperated to you in all the ways, that is very difficult to you for managing your research work. So basically the relationship, healthy relationship is required in between the guide and scholar. So why it is necessary basically? So in what way it should be developing in between these two persons, and also how much the importance is there when we are doing a research we need to discuss today. So now we are discussing about uh, about all the aspects. It's related to developing the relationship between the research scholar and the guide. So healthy relationship between the guide and scholar is very important aspect in research. Basically, we already discussed about it, and it's the research entire process also it depends on the adjustment and the relationship between the research supervisor and as well as the guide, and also the research output also mostly depends on this particular aspect. Means how much output you wanted to give, means what kind of the results you wanted to give in your research, that is basically depends on this particular aspect. This is also one of the important factors influencing on your particular research. The research journey is long process, many factors influencing on this. Basically what which factor is influencing on your particular research work, we don't know. That is depends on the environmental factors, sometimes it is the physical factors, sometimes psychological factors, sometimes emotional factors. Which factor is influencing you to sometimes discontinue your work and motivating your work and discouraging your work, we don't know. Some people, they are facing many problems when they are doing a research. They are not able to cope up with this particular situation. Means some kind of the anxiety, stress, even depression, mild depression, moderate. Some people, they are going under the severe kind of the depression level. Means they are having some suicidal tendencies, and they developed in a long period of time. Then they will commit suicides also. So nowadays we are listening about the articles, and we are reading the articles, and we are looking at the review of literature about the research study on the suicidal ideation among the research scholars. It's basically entirely some people, they are telling about the reason is basically the guide harassment is the major factor is influencing on the scholars for discontinuing their work and self-harming also. So basically if we are talking about the relationships, we need to talk about so all the factors. Means for suppose one shoe size doesn't fit to all. Since why we are talking like this now means so one kind of the supervision is not suitable to all the scholars. So one kind of the supervision means one style he will follow for dealing with one scholar, but the same kind of the supervision, if he follows for the another scholar, it doesn't suit. Means whatever he expects the result, it won't come. So depends on the individual differences and depends on their attitudes, depends on their personality and depends on their intelligence level and depends on their aptitude, capabilities, abilities. So they will respond for the supervisor's instructions. Means everybody is not the same and every personality is not the same. So depends on that. If the guide was followed given instructions, that will give a good results in the output of the research scholar. So there is some characteristics required. There are some characteristics we need to discuss regarding the research supervisor now. So basically whoever is dealing with the scholars in their departments, so first basic characteristic is they are expert in his own field. So this is must and should. If he is having a knowledge regarding that particular subject, that means he need to give some proper guidance and related subject knowledge also he will give to the scholar. What is basically they are expecting the good academic performance from the supervisor, means good motivation, good encouragement regarding the subject areas. First thing. So they need to develop their knowledge with help of the research supervisor. If that is available in the guide, so rest of the things they will considering a little small. So the initial stage they are expecting their guide should have a subject knowledge whatever they are dealing in their research work. And also they are expecting something from the supervisor, that is the guide should encourage quality research. Means if the supervisor is giving a quality kind of the work, guiding a quality kind of the work to the research scholar, they will do some qualitative work in their research. If the guide is not given some instructions regarding the quality of life, means quality means basically when we are talking about the research, we need to talk about the plagiarism and values and rules and regulations and the pattern and the syllabus and the curriculum. So these are the things. So if guide supervision is good and he supposed to given some instructions regarding the values and the ethics and the rules and regulations and plagiarism aspects and all, so then the scholar also will follow that. So if the supervisor is having this kind of the quality in his personality, that will help to the research scholar for doing their research work beneficially. And vision of the planning is also plays a major role. So if the supervisor is following good, giving a proper planning to the research scholar for following what is the pattern for completing, how much of the time is required, what is the duration they need to fulfill, and what kind of the work they will finish it of duration of this particular time. If the guide is given some planning for the doing their research, then research scholar will finish it of the in time of that particular work. If the planning is not properly developed, the scholar may not be follow it and he may not be give a good kind of the result also. And then we are talking about the broad-minded, means whatever whatever things is happening, the research supervisor, if he is having a broad-minded personality, that will be beneficial for the research guide. And also if the supervisor is having if supervisor is motivating to the research scholar, then they are willing to do the work in an effective manner. So motivation plays a major role here. So if the small work is done by the research scholar, after looking at his work, if the research supervisor is motivated and encouraged and supported, then the guide, a research scholar, will try to do more than better of that particular work. So here, if he encouraged and motivated to the research scholar, so it will be give more good result from the research scholar. And also appreciating also is a plays a major role. Means if the person as a supervisor, if he's having this kind of the character in his personality, means whenever the research scholar is doing a good work, if he appreciated or that identified that work and appreciated and given a positive kind of the motivation and also reinforcement for that particular work, then research scholar will be comfortable with that and he is happy with that and he will try to do more work with help of this kind of the encouragement from the research supervisor. And also here the caring and patience is also one of the best characteristics of the research supervisor. Caring. What kind of the caring is required here is, so all the aspects subject the research scholar should be comfortable, then he will do a good work in that particular environment. If he is not adjusted, if he is having any kind of the problems, any kind of the problem he is not able to doing in that particular area, the research supervisor should take care of all the things, then he will be happy with it for dealing that particular problems easily. And also, whenever the research scholars is not doing a proper work in time, he need to be motivated and encouraging them to do that particular work in time. So that kind of the patience is required in a research supervisor. And also, if high moral values is required in research supervisor, means what kind of the moral values he is following. For suppose he is coming in time to the department and he is regularly monitoring his work and he is concentrating on his work, and also whatever the works he is having, he is completing in time or not. This kind of the moral values, if the supervisor is following, then the research guide is also try to follow the whatever the research supervisor is following here. So here the moral values is also one of the best character of a good supervisor. And also honesty is also plays a major role. See, if he is honesty in his work, then research guide also will follow to try to prove his or her honesty in their work. And also positive thinking is also one of the good characteristics of a supportive supervisor. Positive thinking, everybody knows about it, how it is plays a role in our life. Positive kind of the environment, positive kind of the thinking, and positive kind of the receiving of the information, and a positive kind of the response he is giving to the particular research scholar. It also plays a major role in his research work. So if he is having positive thinking when he's talking or dealing with the research scholar, so it's will create a good kind of the relationship and environment in between the research supervisor and as well as the research guide. um, Research scholar and research guide. Then problem solving skills also required for the good supervisor. Problem solving. Whenever the scholar is facing some difficulties and conflicts in his work, he can't able to deal with that particular problem. Then if the supervisor is supported to that to deal that particular problem and encouraged them and suggested them, given some advices to how to deal with it and how to cope up with it, and that kind of the problem solving skills if the guide is having, then scholar also will feel more comfortable to deal with some small things, hurdles when they are facing when they are doing in their research. And also be punctual. If the research supervisor is following the punctuality, then the scholar is also will follow and try to do it in the same manner whatever the guide is also following. Then reasoning skills, so depends on the situation, so how he is using a reasoning skills, that is more important. How he is approaching the people, how he is dealing with the people, and these are the things is must more plays a major role in when they are dealing with the research scholars. Reasoning skills also is more important, and also supervising. So we are already discussed about it. Supervising skills means administrator skills and monitoring skills and the guiding skills. These are the skills also supervisor needed when they are dealing some scholars under him or her, and collect the feedback of the scholar. So how she or he is working under him, and also as well as he or she guide, they need to collect some feedback from the scholars, whatever the modifications he will do, personality wise, attitude wise, and encouragement wise, and the subject wise, and also the relationships wise and administrative wise. Sometimes some guides, they will collect the feedback from the scholars orally and written also. So then they will do some modifications, then they develop their skills, then they will help to the scholars. So but this kind of environment very rarely we are looking in our scenario, but some research supervisors, they are following this. And advice and support, so many times the research scholars are requiring advice from the supervisor, and they need some support from the supervisor. So when they are not cope up with the situations, and when they are not doing a proper work in time, so they need some kind of the positive support from the supervisor. If the supervisor is given such kind of the support and advice to the guy, to the scholars, so they are more comfortable to do their work innovatively, and also good decision maker. So when they're having some conflicts of the positive kind of means approach, in psychology there are some kind of the conflicts are there: approach conflicts, approach avoidant conflicts, avoidant conflicts. Some kind of the conflicts they are facing when they are doing some works and dealing with the people. So by the time if the supervisor given some decisions, see, for suppose scholar is not taking proper decision regarding some aspect, he is ready to advise them how to take the decisions, so within a short period of time. If he tells the long period of time decision, it may not be helpful to the research scholar. But if he is giving a immediate decision or advice to solve how to solve that particular problem, anyways, it's any kind of it is, whether it is related to the academic issue or whether it is related to the psychological issue, any kind of it is. If he is a good decision maker, then scholar will be more comfortable to do work peacefully, and also coordinate and sharing works to all. So if he is coordinating work, means when he is assigning some work to all the scholars, how much of work he need to give and what kind of the time he will allow with them to do the complete them to do that particular work in time. And this kind of the coordination is more important, means if they are quarreling each other, the under scholars, many scholars are there, some people they are dealing 5 members, some people they are dealing 10 members also, so they are guiding. So by the time, so they may not be doing a proper group cooperative work, so maybe they are preferring individual work. So by the time if the supervisor is guiding properly for them to do the group sharing work, that is more beneficial to the scholar as well as the supervisor also. And that healthy kind of the relationship, it depends on the administration and coordination of the supervisor, and also focus on all aspects of the scholar. Here, if the research guide is uh, focusing of all aspects of the scholars problems, means not only problems what they are doing in time they are doing, or how much of the work they are trying to give, and what kind of the output they are expecting, are they going in a right way, or any difficulties they are facing, or they need any other administrative people or other faculty members guidance or advice, or some help related to their work, any kind of it is, they need to know about it, then to solve it, and then to try to cooperate with them to deal with that particular problems. And all the aspects, means for suppose they may be facing some problem with their family members, they may be facing some problem with their other research guide, they may be problem with the administrative people, they may be facing problem with the post scholars. So these are the things, they are not, if they are not adjusted, that will create them low kind of the self-esteem, and a low kind of the adjustment, and personality wise they will face so many problems. This psychologically also, some people they will feel depressed, and by the time how they are reacting, and depends on their personality, their reactions also we can able to see in their attitudes. So then when we are doing research under the supervisor, some kind of the problems we are facing generally, so based on the previous studies, these are the things I collected. I need to discuss about today. The proper planning and management relationships and own decisions and respect of the supervisor. Here, if the proper planning is not there, it is difficult for both of them to deal with the research work, and also relationships also plays a major role. So, if the scholar is convincing or try to convince the guide for her or his work for doing in a smooth manner, how she is or he talking to the supervisor respectively, they are talking assertively, they are talking, or they are communicating properly or not. These are the things also plays a major role. If the relationships is not properly they are maintaining with the co-scholars or the supervisor from the administrative people, they will face many kind of the problems in the research process. Own decisions, if they are taking the own decisions in their work or related to their work, see, if they are not taking opinion of the research supervisor, that maybe, you know, how the guide will react for that, and how he is reacting for that particular decisions, we can't predict it. Sometimes they will take it as a positive, sometimes they will take it as a negative, means why she taken such kind of the decision without consulting me, such kind of the questions will arise in his then we don't know how he will, you know, cooperate for the future days or not. So that is the reason own decisions is not suggesting environment for dealing for uh, you try to take decisions when you are discussing with your guide, that is more beneficial to you. If you are developed your own decisions, that may harmful to you. And also failing to respect supervisor, so some even small things also plays a major role here. Means, see, if you are not respected your supervisor, if you are not wishing him when he is looking into you and when he is coming to the department, you need to wish him, and you need to talk him, and you need to discuss your work daily and regularly and time to time. So if you are failing to respect your supervisor, means if you whatever they are expecting from you in the respective manner, in a respect wise, so if you are not given that, maybe they are not cooperative for later days. Then failing to take a deadliness seriously, means whatever the time they are giving for completing your work, you are not, if you are not followed that, if you are not completed your work in time, guide maybe react in a negatively, means he may not be cooperative to the next work. So demanding and dumping at last moment is also will create a problem, means you are keep on postponing your work. Someday suddenly you have taken all the work who are you whatever you are collected, the information regarding your research work related to the introduction, review of literature, the methodology wise, or data collection wise and questionnaire wise, whatever they work it is, suddenly you have dumped and asking them to correct immediately to your work. You're expecting immediate result, but you need to think about what are the tasks they are completing and how much of the burdens they are having, and what are the works they are having in that time. So whenever you are completed immediately, if you are presented, means they are comfortable to correct your work. But if you are dumped suddenly one day, so after completing all the works, means all the work they need to correct it immediately. It may not be possible for them. You need to be think about their perspective also. It will also create some problem to your further research. And expecting supervisor to organize everything fast, means whatever are we are expecting, whatever you are expecting as a scholar, So then everything should be finished off fast, but that may not be possible. That environmental influences on or influencing on a particular supervisor, you need to be consider all these also. And sometimes you're hiding your problems that may create some problems in between the research supervisor and the research scholar. Hiding means you are not expressing your problems, you are not presenting your problems in front of the guide, so he don't know on which problem you are facing, and what kind of the problems you are dealing, and what kind of the help you required, he don't know. So that is the reason maybe suddenly he knows the problem, but by the time he cannot do anything, because everything you lost or whatever happened, it already happened. By the time, the problems will be increased more. So whenever you are facing a small problem also, you need to be discussed with your guide, that is more beneficial to you. And also gossips will also create some problems in between you. Gossips, whatever you are hearing about you, and whatever you are hearing about your guide, whatever you are hearing about the co-scholars, about the nonsense things and all. So this, you, if you are focused on the gossips means that will create another problem to you. So if you are thinking about it, you are wasting your time. If you are forgetting about it, then whatever your mind is telling, you are following. So don't try to give a chance for the gossips in your working area. And also sexual harassment sometimes, maybe um, like the female scholar is working under the male research supervisor. These many reviews also telling many scholars are suffering with sexual harassment. So if the research scholar is facing some problem because of the research supervisor, 1 minute, 1 second. So, if the supervisor is harassing you, so verbally or orally or any kind of it is discomfort he created by the research supervisor, by the time, so to whom you need to discuss, that is a big problem here. So you indirectly first inform that particular person, even though if he is continuing such kind of the behavior, then if any counselor or any good friend you are having, you need to discuss with them and take some advices. Then you deal with that particular problem in a smooth manner. So any administrative supervisor is there, means head of the department or uh, any higher authorities, you need to inform them. But before informing, try to handle it properly in a smooth manner. If you are not succeeded in that, then try to take other alternatives how to deal with that particular problem. If any person or a scholar, co-scholar, or any other faculty commented you, or they are doing some bullying, then how you are receiving that particular thing, how you are reacting for that. So that is also one important thing. Yeah, immediate reactions, it may not give you a good results. Sometimes if you are handling the situation properly, means if you are having good kind of the emotional intelligence, that will give you a good result. Be patient, and it is some be patient, and think a while when you are taking a decisions, and approach them who are giving good suggestions to you, and discuss with them and take advice. Then you follow it, that will give you a positive result to you. And also, if the person is insensitive or having no empathy, if the supervisor is not taking in a sensitive manner when you are facing a psychological problems or any kind of the problem it is, so that will also create some problem to you. So insensitive kind of the personality, if the supervisor is showing, that is also one difficult for you. Later we will discuss about it, how to handle it, how to cope up with this. And also, if he is not having a concern on your work, or if he is not having a concern towards you, and if he is not having a concern towards your research work, by the time also you are thinking that why I am here, what I am doing, and what kind of the support you are getting. And you need to think a while. And uh, sometimes you are getting a disappointment because of the guide's behavior and guide's motivation wise. But if you are strong, if you are confident, if you are having a good kind of the self-esteem, you may handle it properly. So everything is depends on ourselves, means it depends on your personality characteristics. So many people, they are facing problems, but even though they are surviving in the society, many people, they are facing problems with the research supervisors, but even though they are submitting their thesis in time. So how they are handling that situation, why we are not handling that particular situation? So here the major factor is our personality, how to deal with it, how to adjust with it, how to solve it, and everything, it depends on your personality. So some these are the now we are discussing about these are the things may help you to cope up with this particular problems with your research supervisor. So one is we are discussing about the counseling aspects. So we need to provide counseling services to the scholars in the universities or in any institutions that will be more beneficial for the scholars. Means whatever the problem they're handling, if they are not taking a proper decision regarding of that particular problem, if they are not cope up with that situation, if they are not handle that issues, so then they are they need some advices from the professionals and help from the well-wishers. So by the time if the counselor is there in that particular area, they will help you how to deal with it, and they will encourage you, they will motivate you, and they will give a support in all the areas. So basically this is a basic need is there for the all the scholars in any universities, but very few universities they are following this. The other universities, they are not implementing this. They conduct the seminars to all the scholars regarding how to cope up with the stress and anxiety. Basically, when they are doing the research work, obviously they are having some kind of the anxiety in their personality and the stress they are handling with the situation. So they will face some kind of the stress related symptoms physically and psychologically and emotionally also. So by the time, so how to handle it, if as a supervisor they need to conduct some seminars and workshop related to these psychological problems when they are facing by the time of they are doing their research. So it will be more beneficial for the scholars effectiveness. And provide personality development and quality of life time management classes is also more helpful to the scholars. See, personality development means overall personality development, means attitude wise and behavior wise, and the anxiety, any kind of the, so many characteristics were included, many traits were included in personality. In all the areas, they need to be adjusted in that particular area when they are studying somewhere outside of from their home. So by the time the personality developmental classes improving them to adjust in that particular area. Then also quality of life importance and management class, time management classes. What is the importance of the life? So how they are leading their life, whether they are doing a quality of whether they are maintaining their quality of life or not. What do you mean by the quality of life? They need to be before entering to the entering as a scholar. If they know, sure, they are also try to follow that such things in their lives. So but how they came to know that this is the kind of good personality, this is a good quality of life? because of because of with help of the seminars and guest lectures and the classes and the counseling group counseling sessions conducted by the professionals like psychologists and psychiatrists and who are the higher professionals working in your institution. And also time management. What is the need of a time management? How to follow the time management and what are the skills required for following the time management? So these are all the things. If we were guided properly to the scholars, they are more comfortable and their work also will they try to give you a good output in their work. And also life skills development classes weekly once along with the research work. So obviously they are doing work along with it. If we are introduced life skills management classes for them, it will be good for them to develop their work and also conduct some awareness programs on mental health issues. So by the time when they are dealing with the problems, when they are facing some kind of the stress related symptoms, and also if they are feeling more stressful environment, by the time they are not cope up with that stressful events, if they knows how to handle it, so it is kind of the environment created by the lectures, who the awareness programs will give you that kind of the knowledge to the scholars. So here every university they should conduct some awareness programs related to the mental health issues faced by the research scholars, and also how to some kind of the strategies and techniques are required for dealing with the mental health issues for the research scholar. And also provide time extra for extracurricular activities. So if you are assigning a keep on work, it will create some mental stress to the research scholars. So by the time if you are allowed them to go outside for doing a curricular activities or extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, kind of the things, it will give you some kind of the good work to your research scholar in all the ways, and ask them to go for the regular classes of yoga. Means if they are having the if they are having conflicts in their personality, means the anxiety level is increased by the time, and also uh, everything they are not adjusting. By the time you suggest them to go for the yoga classes, if they're doing continuous yoga classes, then that is also one good thing, will help them to develop in good kind of the environment in the research area, and advise them to do for the relaxation techniques at home. So this is also one beneficial work for them, and when they are dealing with the problems. And relaxation techniques means even nowadays in online also many techniques they are implemented, like Jacobson muscular relaxation technique. So if they were followed in their home at least for 15 minutes to 20 minutes, that will also give some relaxation in their mind. That later, if they are entered in the work, they are free from the stress. Maybe that will give you a good kind of the output in your work. And regular meeting with the guide. So what a regular monitoring is more important here. If they are having administrative work and more classes also, the research supervisor should spend some time and allow them or give them some time to talk with the research guide. So if they are allowed them to talk with any kind of the issue related to the academics or non-academic, they are more adjusted and they are happy with it. So here time factor is more important. Even though if the supervisor is busy, if they asked them to speak about related to the academic issues or non-academic issues, they are happy to talk with the supervisor. Sometimes if the supervisor is not talking with them, they are feeling like the guide is not concerning on me, he is not cooperating with me, he is not taking care of me, like that they are thinking, and they are not sharing anything to you. So these are the things required for the research guide as well as the research supervisor scholar also. So these are the some techniques may help you to continue your research in a healthy manner. And also along with it, some kind of the things will help you to make success in your research. So that is one thing is perseverance. The second one is tenacity and constancy. So if you are prepared for handling the failures in your work. So not only work, anything you are doing, any work you are doing. So when you are ready with handling that particular situation or handling with that problem, handling with that a task. So if you are ready with it, you are adjusted with that. If you are not ready with that, you are not adjusted with that. So problem will be increased more. So here perseverance is also plays a major role for your success. And also that determination also will plays a major role for your success. Determination means strong kind of the determination. Means you are strong with your work, you are confident with your work, you are well versed with your work, and you are strong with your opinion, you are strong in your decision. So by the time your success also is there in front of you. Sometimes if you are not confident in work, you are not determined, you are not strongly doing your work, you are not strongly following your goal, you are not trying strong seriously trying to approaching your goal, by the time success may not be uh, come to you. And also ability to clearly articulate your ideas, whatever the ideas you are having, you wanted to apply in that your research, means innovatively you are trying to elevate something in your research, but you are not presented in your guide, so that may not help you. So if you are revealed it, if you are presented your idea, that will be more beneficial to you. So for your success, the ability to clearly articulate your ideas is also more important. So these are the things you need to be consider when you are doing your research in a work in any university. So if you are having any queries related to this, or if you want any help from psychological support wise, you can contact me. Uh, and any time I'm ready to help you people. So not only for the student, even though they are research scholars or working employees also, anytime you can contact me. Thank you for giving this opportunity, Ramchandran sir, once again, for sharing my opinions regarding this. Later, any opportunity is there, I will discuss about the psychological problems facing by the scholars when they are doing their research work. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.